Hi YouTube, Regina here. So I got this text the other day. A family member asked me about whether or not they should pay a 1% fee to a financial manager. And just to preface this, they believed that they were going to be paying just the 1% on the growth of their money. So another family member of mine told them that they didn't think it was a good idea. This family member has worked their entire life to build this account and they just needed my advice on what to do. And I already let them know that I didn't think it was a good idea. And anyway, I'm going to read you the email yeah, it was an email. I hope you're having a great Monday thus far. I'm sorry for the delayed response. I went away during last week and I came back to this email in my drafts. I realized I didn't send it. And I'm bringing that portion up because I think what happens with financial advisors is they make you think you need them instead of them needing you. And so I don't think this was unplanned to have this go out on Monday versus the week before. Let her wait. With regards to the message, I do understand where your brother in law came from, but I'd like to address each point. And so, just to give you an example, someone else in the family had mentioned that the 1% fee was too high and not to do it. You're giving away your money to the financial advisors. With regards to the 1% fee, this is only on assets we're actively managing, which would only be in the IRA to start. The 1.2 million in non-qualifying account wouldn't be charged until we started unwinding it from a tax standpoint and second started producing income for your retirement. My projection is that this wouldn't be charged we wouldn't be charging that account until 3 to 5 years as it would take sometimes to do it tax efficiently. Bogus, by the way. Two, when it comes to the allocation, I do agree that an ETF for growth purposes is a great solution. My only concern is when we get to retirement, in order to generate income, the income we need, there is more of an actively managed needed in order to sustain the income flow. We we'd be building out a more fixed income dividend producing portfolio. When using single ETF you're currently in, it could cause sizable fluctuations in the amount of your income principal you'd be taking out during retirement. And so currently, this family member has money sitting in an ETF, the high dividend ETF, and this asset under management financial advisors is suggesting basically taking that ETF apart, which is more of a safety measure, just to ensure that they could get standing income. And to do that, this person would pay a 1% fee at that point. For the next couple of years, while you're working, meeting once a year would work, although we recommend 2 to 4 times just to solidify the goals are tax planning and estate planning meetings to get us ready for retirement. Once you retire, we're a bit more hands on in the beginning just to make sure the income being sent from Social Security and investment is meeting your monthly figures. To sum it up, I do understand your brother in law's point. However, I think for you and your husband specifically, there's a large value we'd be able to provide up to and including your retirement years. Smiley face. And so this family member sent it to me, and my response, straight, flat out, it never makes sense to pay 1% of your money in a fee. So let's just go over what this means, really, and why it doesn't make sense. And maybe I'll do a caveat to that because there are situations where it might make sense, and I'll explain. So, first off, the 1% that she would be paying would be on her assets under management. So, in this email itself, 1.2 was referenced. So, and it's more than 1.2. So that would be $12,000 a year. $12,000 a year to break apart an ETF. $12,000 a year for someone who has absolutely no income coming in retirement. There's really no tax planning with regard to what would be done during retirement because let's just get it straight. The 1.2, a lot of that money is in brokerage accounts. This would be a couple who is married filing jointly. The first $94,000 of income they make, they would be in the 0% tax bracket. So there's no tax planning involved there. Yes, Social Security would be involved, but I had her look up her Social Security for me, and we went online. And at the age of 62, she would just be getting $1,100. Her husband right now is getting 17. And so, from a tax standpoint, it wouldn't be that much income that they would have to worry about as far as paying taxes on because there is no tax planning in that scenario because a lot of their income again would be coming from brokerage accounts. We looked over the account. She told me how much of it was in gains, and about more than a little bit more than a half a million was in gains. And so, even if she took about $50,000 a year in gains over a 10-year period, she wouldn't have to pay any capital gains on that money, assuming she didn't start collecting Social Security until a little bit later, because she would only have her husband's Social Security as any income coming in once she stopped working. She's a little bit younger than her husband. Okay? So let's just talk about that fee. The 1% tax advisory fee might seem small, and a lot of people think that that's a small amount. But in general, when it comes to living on your money, most people only need 4% of their money to live on. So it would whatever you have in investable at 4 to 5%. So if you're giving 1% of your money away, now all of a sudden you have 1% less to live on. Secondly, kudos. They did a freaking great, awesome job to have that much money in their 50s to boot. Well, actually, her husband's in their 60s. But to have 1.2 million in your 50s is fantastic. And so, having a financial advisor tell you they're going to charge you 1% when she gets to Social Security age, it's kind of disgusting, honestly. My advice to her was if you want a plan to be built for you, go see a fee only advisor. A fee only advisor, you pay a flat fee. You can find one who on several different types of websites who have all the credentials, and you pay a one time fee for them to make a retirement plan for you. But again, her plan is going to be pretty easy because they're married, filing jointly, and most of their money is going to be in capital gains. Next, the 1% advisory fee might seem small, but over time it can really significantly eat into your return. So, one of the biggest ways people make money is the power of compounding. And so, over time, if let's say you had the market return of 11%, and now you're only getting a 10% return because 1% of your money would be going of that return to the financial advisor. Over a 12-year period, so she is at this point 57, over a 12-year period, that would be $360,000. We've had ChatGPT run the numbers. So you're giving up a real big portion of your money. But that's not the only thing that happens. A lot of people are very concerned that the stock market is going to go down these next couple of years. She herself was concerned about this. Assets under management means the amount of money that they're managing for you. And so 1% gets paid out quarterly, probably a quarter percent each quarter, regardless of how well your account is performing. They get paid regardless. So you could have someone who's doing a really great job and they're getting paid, and you could have someone who's doing so poorly for you and your money isn't growing. And let's just add something else in there. Right now, her husband is on Social Security. He's getting about $1,700 a month, and that money is going into the account to dollar cost average for them. They are again in high dividend yield ETFs, so exchange traded funds. So it's not the risk that they would be in right now is less risky than the approach that this money manager wants to do for them. Break it apart and put it in individual stocks with better dividend yields and actually pick the stocks so that they could guarantee the income for them and possibly even give some of their money away and buy some annuities. So that's what this manager wanted to do from what I read from that. The other thing is when assets are run under management, it almost doesn't matter to them. They're more concerned about getting you the numbers that you want to get. So they're going to potentially take more risk with your money. They don't have the same responsibility or the same there's a conflict of interest. They're going to be worried about themselves getting paid. So they'll take more risk with your money if you want a high return. So it's not their fault. They're going to make you sign paperwork that you wanted a higher return. And so you're going to be agreeing to their plan. And their plan could potentially lead you into sequence of return risk, particularly if the stock market goes down in the first year that her assets would be under their management. The next thing that people don't realize is most money managers, most financial advisors out there do not beat the market. Probably a good 90-95% of money managers out there do not. The only time it really makes sense to pay a 1% fee on your money is if you are super wealthy, and the super wealthy get access to funds that you and I would not have access to. And so they could potentially be involved in getting, access to IPOs before the rest of the market sees it. So they have the potential to beat the market. Not someone like you, not someone like me. So fee only advisor all the way. Now, to find a reputable fee only advisor that someone can build a plan, you can look on the NAPFA, the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors, and find one. You can look for certified financial planners to make a plan for her retirement. But just to give you the difference, after 12 years of compounding with 11% return, so I did the difference between 11 and 10, would be the amount of money she had, the 1.2 I took, would be worth 3.498 in 12 years versus giving 1% away to an advisor would bring her to 3,138,000. So that's a difference of 360,000 lost to fees. Now, does that sound worth it to you? I don't think so. So, and of course, more time means more time, more amount of money that you're giving to money advisors. So assets under management refers to the total market value of your investments that a financial advisor or investment firm manager manages on behalf of their clients. When a firm is charging a 1% fee, it means they take 1% from the total assets they manage from you each and every year. And so, for example, if you have 500,000 under management, that fee is 1%. You would be giving them 5,000 per year, no less. And this fee is usually deducted directly from your account, often quarterly. Example, 0.25 per quarter. So anyway, don't waste your money. Particularly in this case, they're doing so well on their own. And yes, they may need a different plan. They may need to not have as much of their money at risk because you have to change your asset allocations as you get older and as you approach retirement. You may not want all your money in ETFs. And so we spoke about that, but a fee only financial advisor is your best bet. Don't waste your money and don't give it away to someone who's a financial manager who gives you a plan of 1% of assets under management. You can tell I'm passionate about this. It really upset me. Okay. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one.